It had been 3 months since my divorce. 3 long months. The house felt too quiet every night. No music, no laughter, no one asking how my day was. I worked late most evenings just to avoid going home. At the office, I smiled like everything was fine. But inside, I felt empty. My name is Daniel. I'm 36. And I honestly thought my life was over. That Thursday night started like any other. Rain tapped softly against my windows. I was sitting on my couch in sweatpants, eating cold pizza from the box. Then my phone buzzed. It was my boss, Emily Carter. I stared at the screen for a second. Emily never called this late, especially not after 9 p.m. I answered quickly. Hello? Her voice sounded nervous. Daniel, are you home? I sat up straighter. Yeah, is everything okay? There was a small pause. Can I come by? That caught me off guard. My house? Yes. Another pause, please. I looked around my messy living room. Sure. I'll be there in 20 minutes. The call ended. I just sat there staring at the phone. Emily was my boss for almost 4 years. Smart, confident, always calm. At work, everyone respected her. Honestly, everyone was a little scared of her, too. But I knew another side of her. Small moments during late meetings, quiet talks after work, the way she noticed when I skipped lunch, the way she asked if I was sleeping okay after my divorce. Still, this felt different. Why would she come to my house alone at night? I quickly cleaned the living room. I hid the pizza box, changed my shirt, then changed it again. 10 minutes later, headlights stopped outside my house. My heart started beating fast. I looked through the window. It was her. She stepped out holding a black umbrella. Even in the rain, she looked elegant. Simple gray coat, loose hair, no makeup. For some reason, that made her look even more beautiful. I opened the door before she knocked. Hey, I said awkwardly. Hey, she gave a tired smile for the first time ever. Emily looked lost. I moved aside. Come in. She stepped inside slowly. You can leave your coat there. Thanks. The room became quiet immediately, almost too quiet. I'm sorry for coming this late, she said. It's okay. I pointed toward the couch. Want coffee? She shook her head. No, She stopped talking. I noticed her hands were shaking slightly. That worried me. Emily, what happened? She looked down for a second. Then she laughed softly. You know what's funny? What? At work, everyone thinks I have my life together. I didn't answer because, honestly, I understood that feeling too well. She looked around my house. It's peaceful here. That's one word for it. She smiled faintly. You've been lonely, haven't you? The question hit harder than I expected. I shrugged. I'm getting used to it. That's not an answer. I looked away. After the divorce, people stopped asking real questions. They just said things like, you'll move on. Stay strong. Everything happens for a reason. But loneliness doesn't disappear because people say nice things. Emily looked at me carefully. You loved her a lot. Yeah, and she hurt you. I let out a slow breath. Yeah. The rain outside became louder. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she quietly said, My husband left 2 years ago. I blinked. What? She nodded slowly. I never told anyone at work. I stared at her in shock. You were married? Technically still am. The papers are unfinished. That explains so much. The late nights at work, the empty look in her eyes sometimes. All this time she was carrying pain too. She gave a small laugh. Funny, right? Not really. I spent 2 years pretending I was fine. Her eyes met. Mine. But tonight I couldn't sit alone anymore. Something changed in that moment. The room suddenly felt smaller, warmer, more honest. I sat across from her quietly. You could have called a friend. I did. What happened? No one answered. That sentence broke my heart a little because I knew exactly how that felt. Then she looked directly at me. But I knew you would. My chest tightened. Outside, thunder rolled softly in the thaw. Distance. Inside. Everything suddenly felt personal. Too personal. Emily leaned back against the couch. You know something strange, Daniel? What? You're the only person who talks to me like I'm normal. I laughed quietly. You scare me too much to act fake. She smiled for real this time. A beautiful smile. And for the first time in months, I forgot about my divorce. Just for a second. Then Emily noticed a framed photo on the shelf, an old wedding picture. She stood up slowly and picked it up. You still keep this? I felt embarrassed. I forgot to move it, but that wasn't true. I simply couldn't let go yet. Emily looked at the photo carefully. Then she surprised me. She didn't deserve this version of you. I looked at her. What do you mean? She set the picture down gently. The version that still loves deeply after getting hurt. Those words stayed in my head. No one had ever said something like that to me before. Then suddenly, the lights went out. The whole house turned dark. I laughed softly. Perfect timing. The storm? Yeah, happens sometimes. Only the rain and distant thunder filled the silence now. Then Emily whispered something unexpected. Good. I frowned slightly. Good. In the darkness, her voice sounded softer than ever. Now I can finally tell you why I really came here tonight. The house stayed completely dark. Only the sound of rain filled the room. I could barely see Emily standing near the shelf. My heart was beating hard now. What do you mean? I asked softly. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she walked closer to the window. Streetlights outside painted faint shadows across her face. For the first time, Emily looked nervous. Not like my boss. Not like the confident woman from the office. Just human. I almost didn't come tonight, she said quietly. Then, why did you? She folded her arms slowly. Because I was afraid of what? Her eyes met mine, of losing the chance to tell you the truth. The room suddenly felt heavier. I swallowed hard. What truth? She smiled sadly. Do you remember the night? You stayed late after everyone left. I thought for a second. The Henderson Project. She nodded. You looked exhausted. I laughed softly. I was exhausted. You also looked heartbroken. That part was true, too. I remembered sitting alone at my desk after signing divorce papers earlier that day. Emily had quietly placed coffee beside me without saying anything. At the time, I thought she was only being kind. Now I wasn't so sure. That night, she continued. I realized something. I stayed silent. She took a slow breath. I cared about you more than I should. My chest tightened instantly. The rain outside seemed even louder now. For a second, I honestly thought I imagined her words, but her eyes never moved away from mine. You don't have to say anything, she added quickly. I know the timing is messy. I finally found my voice, Emily. She shook her head softly. I'm not here to pressure you. She gave a weak smile. I just got tired of pretending. Those words hit me deeply because pretending was exactly what I had been doing too. Pretending I was okay. Pretending I wasn't lonely. Pretending I didn't look forward to seeing her every morning. I walked closer slowly. Why didn't you tell me before? She laughed quietly. You had enough pain already. That answer hurt in a strange way because even now she was thinking about my feelings first. The lights suddenly flickered back on. Both of us blinked. And there we were, standing only a few feet apart. No darkness left to hide inside. Emily looked embarrassed suddenly. I should probably go. What? This was a mistake. No. The word came out fast. Too fast. She looked surprised. I rubbed the back of my neck awkwardly. I don't think it was. Neither of us moved. Then her phone buzzed loudly in the silence. She checked the screen. Her expression changed immediately. I noticed it right away. What happened? She locked the phone quickly. Nothing that didn't look like nothing. She hesitated, then finally sighed. My husband. He did. A woman like Emily was impossible to forget. She noticed my reaction immediately. Daniel. I forced a small smile. You should answer him. I don't want to, but maybe you should. She stared at me carefully. Are you pushing me away already? I didn't know how to answer that because, honestly, I was scared. Scared of trusting someone again. Scared of getting attached again. Scared of losing someone again. Emily stepped closer. You know what your problem is? I laughed softly. Only one? You think love has to destroy you to be real? Her words caught me off guard. She continued softly. You gave everything to someone who walked away. I stayed silent, but that doesn't mean everyone will. For some reason, my eyes started burning a little. I looked down quickly. After my divorce, I promised myself I would never be vulnerable again. And yet, here I was, standing in my living room, feeling more understood than I had in years. Emily reached for her coat slowly. I should leave before this gets more complicated. But before she could move, I gently held her wrist. Not forcefully, just enough to stop her. She looked at me quietly. Stay a little longer, I said. The room became completely silent again. Then she smiled. A real smile this time. Warm, soft, honest. So she stayed. We talked for hours after that about everything. Our failed marriages, our regrets, the dreams we gave up. At some point, the rain stopped outside, and somehow the heaviness inside me started fading too. Around 2 a.m., Emily looked at the clock and laughed. We have work in 6 hours. I might call in sick. You never call in sick. I'm trying new things. She smiled again. Then suddenly her expression softened. You know something strange? What? This is the first place that has felt like home in years. That sentence stayed with me. Not because it was romantic, but because it was honest. And honest feelings are rare. When she finally stood near the door to leave, neither of us wanted the night to end. Emily looked up at me quietly. So, what happens now? I thought about it carefully. Then I smiled. For now, yeah, we stopped pretending. Her eyes filled slightly with emotion. Then she leaned forward and hugged me gently. Not dramatic, not rushed, just real. And after months of feeling broken, I finally felt peace. 1 week later, I learned the final twist. Emily had turned down a huge job offer in another city 2 months earlier. A promotion everyone wanted. She stayed because she didn't want to leave me behind. She never told me. Not until later. That was the moment I realized something important. Sometimes love doesn't arrive loudly. Sometimes it simply shows up quietly at your door on a rainy night, right when you think your life is over.